I want to talk to you today about inner child work. Now, a lot of us have heard about this and have read about this and are curious about it. I do a lot of this work in trauma therapy because a lot of times the trauma happened when the person was a child. And so that inner child never got healed. It never got what they needed. It never got what they wanted. And when we do inner child work, we have to understand something about how children react to trauma. Okay? In a child's world, it has to be safe in order to feel level, in order to feel not nervous, in order to feel like it's being taken care of. They have to make their world safe. And the way that children do that is by making everything their fault. If a parent is unloving or hurting them, they can't say, okay, there's something wrong with my parent's unsafe. They have to say, there's something wrong with me. If I was just better, if I was just nicer, if I just behaved more, if I did all the right things, if I was perfect, then my parent would love me and they wouldn't hurt me. And so that's the way a child responds. The problem with this is when we grow up and we don't heal that inner child, then we take on that parent's voice and we start hurting ourselves. We start putting ourselves down. We start beating up on ourselves and making everything our fault when it actually isn't. So as we do inner child work, you're going to separate out the logical adult part of you, the part that knows that a 7-year-old is not at fault for being hit, for being emotionally beat up, for being unloved. It's not the 7-year-old's fault. The adult, the rational side of us knows that. We can look at any child and say, no, that wouldn't be their fault. That's the adult's fault. And so the adult in us has to start parenting that child that's saying everything's their fault and beating themselves up. And so when you have an emotional reaction, when you get upset about something, when you go over the top about something, the adult in you can say, what's going on? What do you need? Why are you so upset? Do you not feel heard? Do you not feel loved? Do you not feel like things are fair? Tell me what's going on. And then you can actually have an internal conversation with yourself. This can be done anywhere, anytime. I mean, I can give you an example where, let's say you're at work and your boss inappropriately yells at you and puts you down, and you get triggered and you want to rage at that boss because your trauma from your childhood causes rage. You go into the restroom and you go into a stall and you say, okay, why are you so angry? Because he yelled at me, because he said what he said to me. Okay, that was wrong. He should never have done that to you. I am going to make sure that I say something to protect you, that I put a boundary up, that I ask him to talk to us in a different tone of voice, in a different way. And I don't know if he's going to be responsive or not, but we're going to try, and I'm going to protect you from this because you don't deserve to be treated like that. And it's not your fault. It's his. And, whatever happens with the situation is one thing because it's a work situation, but that's how you can even deal with it in the outside world. The hard part about this, and the part that you probably have the most trouble with, is separating the parent-adult part of you and the child-damaged part of you. You have to remember that the two of them maybe at war inside of yourself right now even, but they're all so jumbled up that it feels like it's just all part of you. It's all there in together. But if you really think about your logical adult part, and then the wounded inner child, the one that's emotional, irrational, wants to scream, wants to rage, wants to throw a temper tantrum, wants to sulk, wants to throw a pity party, all the things that children do, wants to throw a tantrum. The adult part of you can say, what's wrong? How can I help? What do you need? Let's work on this together. We don't have to feel this way. It's not your fault. You are loved. You are cared for. You are seen. This is the work that we're going to be doing. So the first thing is separating the parent and the child. The second thing is remembering which part your emotions or your thoughts are coming from. Is this a reaction? Is this the inner child? Or is this something in the adult? And normally if it's an emotional response, it's going to be from the inner child. If it's an emotional response that is not cognitive, that is not normal to the situation, that is not apropos to what is happening, almost always that's the inner child. And so you have to learn to get to know what is the wounded part of you and what is the logical adult part of you. And you have to separate the two out and then allow the adult to start parenting the child. Let the adult parent part of you give that child, that wounded child, what it never ever got as a kid, what it never ever was able to say or do as a kid, what it was never able to feel as a kid. And that's how you heal that inner child. That's how you do it. And you're going to make mistakes. That's okay. You can apologize when you make a mistake. The adult part of you can apologize to the inner child. And the inner child can also thank or apologize to the adult part of you. You can interact with them, and as you're doing this, you get to know that wounded part of yourself. You get to know what you didn't get, what you didn't feel, what you didn't experience in a positive way as a child, and you can start giving that to yourself. This is a very clear-cut and very healing way of dealing with childhood trauma wounds. And so I encourage you to start trying this. I encourage you to reach out to me, to leave a comment, find me on Facebook, Instagram, text me in Messenger. But the important part is that you get to know that wounded inner child, you start parenting that wounded inner child, and you start giving that wounded inner child what it didn't have. And also teach them how to react appropriately and how to express themselves appropriately and how to let that emotion out without hurting themselves or anyone else. So you're also teaching that wounded part of you. Okay? So if you have any questions about this or anything else regarding inner child work or really anything else, just please message me and I will get back to you in a day or so. Okay? I look forward to hearing from you and really work on healing that inner child and being the parent that you never had or the parent that you wish you had. You can be that for yourself. You really can. So until next time, God bless and we'll see you.